know where the treats at.
Is this the passing of the torch, right? Is this what this signifies?
It comes down to that front office and what they feel is most important.
The champ is here. We've touched down from a higher plane. Why you landed here?
We always look forward to that week because it was always intense.
You know that we ain't coming back. We about to.
The man, the myth, the legend, Dante Hall. My favorite player growing up was Dante Hall. I love you guys in the show, but Dante was my guy.
Get to dashing because you done on the warfare.
Chief Concerns is presented by BetOnline and Olipop. Marcus Dash here from Chief Concerns, and ladies and gentlemen, it is that time of the year. It's football season, and you know what that means? It means it's time to get in on BetOnline. BetOnline is the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for everything football. BetOnline has every stat, every matchup, and even live odds and spreads to bet on during the games. Think you know your stuff? Get in on our $200,000 mega contest and pick 5 games against the spread every week for your chance at weekly prizes and a share of $200,000. When the game's over, head on over to our online casino and get in on a game of blackjack or poker or unwind with one of our 150 slot games. Head to the website today and get in on the action. Bet online, the game starts here. Come on, baby, go. Yes! That's a first down, it's a first down. This football season, I'll be putting down normal sodas like Coca-Cola for Olipop. Olipop offers a healthier alternative with its low sugar content and natural ingredients. Olipop is more than just a drink. It's a wellness companion that supports your digestive health. Packed with prebiotics, this fizzy elixir helps promote good bacteria in your gut, leading to improved digestion and overall well-being. So go ahead, click the link in the description and use promo code SODALOVE and get your can of Olipop so you can enjoy the game guilt-free. Go Chiefs. Use the promo code SODALOVE for 15% off now. Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Chief Concerns. I'm Marcus Dash, and ladies and gentlemen, we are going in to the dungeon tonight with our guy, former Chiefs tight end, Jason Dunn.
What's up? What's up? Can you hear me?
I can hear you great, brother.
Okay, good deal. So yeah, this is just a preview of some of the things that I want to do for this show, and I got it right here. Welcome to the dungeon. And so everybody, this is kind of the first look at the dungeon right now. You can see this is kind of like this is the lab. This is where the lab. This is where all the, you know how they talk. You used to hear all the time with what was that? MTV Cribs. Used to talk about where the magic happens. Well, this is where the magic happens. Kind of for me. And so this is down here in the, can't show you all my stuff. I just, when we get there, do segments of the dungeon, then I'll let y'all see all the masterpiece. Okay, I'll let y'all see all the workings, everything behind this. But you can tell, you can see some of the stuff up on the board. I'll turn a little bit this way. Which way I want to turn? Actually, with the camera, I gotta keep forgetting that the camera's here.
That's a sexy look down there.
Yeah, we got a little sexy look. We got a little thing going. Yeah, we're gonna build it up just a little bit more. There's a couple more couple things I have to do. Just get this thing popping. So hopefully Friday, it's gonna be all put together. So This is a good deal, man. It's a good deal. How you doing, brother?
I'm doing great, man. I'm doing great. I told you before the show my hair wasn't cooperating, so I got the 2009 Justin Bieber look going tonight. So if anyone gets that reference, hopefully some of our folks do. But yeah, bro, I'm good. Can't wait for this game. Doing some research on the Bengals going into this weekend. Kind of interesting. They're a team. They kind of remind me, and obviously not fully. They kind of remind me of what we were going into last year, with some little turmoil going on with players, holding out. No requesting trades from our end last year, but similar. They had a disappointing week 1 game. Obviously, a team to be reckoned with, one of our biggest nemesis. But there's some things going on in there with Cincinnati. But yeah, doing some research on them. I'm very interested to see how things play out this week, because we talk about must wins sometimes. In week 2, you're in a tough division. and you go down 0-2. It's a big game for them this weekend. So and we obviously know they're no slouch of opponents. So
yeah. Now look, it's a huge game. No question about it. We understand the gravity of what they're going to be bringing into the stadium. I think they understand it too. But before we get into that, Marcus, seeing the chat right here going crazy, I want to say hi to everybody out here. I can't forget what we do, right? We got to go talk to our family out here.
Of course.
Saying what's up to everybody. So, hey, man, how about time? Ghost Hunter 1974. Gary Holland, good to see you. Kale, good to see you as well. I don't think we've seen you in here before, Kale. Lacey Snake, I'm the Brown. Biggest Spidey. You talk about my hair. That's what I saw. I was laughing at him. You see my little tail, I guess, for my locks, pushing back there. See, Lacey Snake, Andre Chenault. What's up? Good to see you. Good to see you. Let me see who else we got in here. Who else we got? Ladak 9. Okay. What's good?
We got a first timer in here, JD Kim Wathen. What's up, guys? Never miss a show. First one live. Welcome to the live show, Kim.
Yeah, welcome. Good to see you. Good to see you, Kim. Good to see you. So, Players Slayer 1. Good to see you. Welcome. I haven't heard that name before. Mike Brennan. Good to see you, my man. Always good seeing you. You see who? Zulu's always here. Sleepy Face. What's happening? Always on time. No doubt. That's how we do it. That's how we do. Haramba Biff, Traveling Man. What's going down? Let me see who else we got. Let me see. I think that's it right now from what I see so far. So, like I said, I can't see who's all on the chat, man. But we're going to get it here. We're going to get it popping. We're going to be talking about this. Martin Moore, good to see you. So yeah, man, we're going to go ahead and get into it. We understand, okay, and he was just kind of talking about this. The Bengals understand how big a game this is. They got embarrassed up in New England, got embarrassed by a team that wasn't supposed to beat them. And so, obviously, they weren't loaded all the way. T. Higgins did not play. Neff, word. Good to see you, Neff. Good to see you, Neff. So, that's the thing. Not having T. Higgins really, affected him. But also, too, Jamar Chase had just gotten out there. He had just gotten out there to start practicing, going through the dispute as far as contractual-wise. It's still always good to look at that, see how everything's going to pop off from them. But you can tell he's not happy. Jamar Chase is not a happy camper at all. So it's going to be a challenge. It's going to be a challenge to see what these guys can do, especially coming here to Arrowhead. And they know they're going to try to right this ship. This is going to be the best time to do it is against the Chiefs. So what we got to do is we got to make sure we don't give them any type of confidence. We can't let them think they're going to be in a game. When it starts off from the very beginning, we're going to hit them dead in the mouth. That's the way it works. And the first one we're going after is Joe Burrow. Mr. Blonde hair, Joe Burrow. As I see him, he's rocking the blonde hair today, these days, right? So we'll see. We'll see how it's going to look.
Yeah, hopefully, and once they go 0-2, hopefully he changes that haircut and goes back to normal to focus on the real stuff, right? Let's get rid of that Eminem haircut, buddy. You look ridiculous with that thing. But yeah, obviously we're going to take a dig into this matchup this weekend, and kind of piggybacking off what we were just talking about, JD. Talking about Cincinnati, what's going on with them. They lose the game this past weekend in New England. Obviously, 8.5-point favorite going into that game, so it's a big time loss. But seeing them at this point in the season, it's one of our biggest nemesis during the Mahomes era. It's been Cincinnati coming off this loss against New England. I kind of dove into and saw what they've been going through this whole offseason and this whole time. So offseason drama, T. Higgins, Trey Hendrickson, both requested trades after not getting extensions. However, both have returned to the team, but T. Higgins been out with a hamstring injury. He's had kind of dealt with hamstring injuries throughout his career in Cincy. And then you have Jamar Chase, who's been disgruntled, wants a new extension, wants big time money, wants to be paid a cent more than Justin Jefferson. So there you go. Jamar Chase wants to be paid a little bit more. And what I'm starting to learn, you may know this already, JD, being in the NFL for a long time. Cincinnati's one of those franchises that's likes to be very cheap with their with paying guys. Yeah. It seems like it's been that way for a long time with Cincy. But yeah, so held in during the offseason. And And then this past week, after the game was over, talked about lack of targets, and they told the media to ask a coach about that. So disgruntled a little bit. And then Joe Burrow, come end of the season last year, or season ended early last year, that rare wrist injury. And then last Sunday, seems like that injury hasn't gone away. He was messing with the injury the entire game, or messing with his wrist the entire game. He had to shoot basketballs before the game to get his wrist loose. They showed him on the sideline trying to pick up a water bottle, like kind of dropped it, so he needed the other hand to guide it in. And then also on top of that, I think the stat here, he only attempted 6 passes of 10 or more yards downfield. All his other passes were within 1 to 9 yards. So 10 or more, only 6 passes throughout the game. Also, too, Joe Burrow starts off pretty slow throughout his career. So far in his career, weeks 1 through 2, the first 2 weeks, he's 1-8 in the first 2 weeks of the season. So going against the Chiefs in week 2 is pretty tough with that record. So obviously he starts slow. But JD, with all this being said, and with the history the Chiefs have with the Bengals, is this the right time to be playing the Bengals?
Is this the right time to be playing the Bengals? For us, to be honest with you, man, I'm gonna say this. I don't think the Chiefs care what week it is to play the Bengals. Obviously, you want to get them right now if they're down, or you just for the strategic point of them being at a disadvantage. But you can't sleep on anybody on any Sunday in the NFL. My thing is this: the Chiefs are ready. I know we talk about the Bengals, what they're dealing with, and they got to deal with their own stuff. Okay, they have to. All right, it's a mess over there. They got to go through contractual stuff. We got some guys we want to sign contractually. Maybe we'll get into talking about some of the guys a little bit later about that. But the Chiefs, they don't care. They don't care, man. Look, they on this run for a reason, this three-peat. And like somebody says right here, anytime, any day. And that's true. Look, I don't care if you're at your best or you're at the worst, whatever it may be, the Chiefs are going to be ready and they're going to be prepared for you. So this season, I try not to emphasize about what teams are going to do to us. It's all about what we do to them. And it's how we play. That's what's going to get us to the three-peat. And these guys are going to be prepared for it. So if they can come in and healthy, Joe Burrow, if he could throw the ball 30 times down the field over 15 or 30 yards, whatever it may be, our guys are going to be ready. Now, I've seen, the video of him doing that with his hand and whatnot. We don't quite know what that means. So he could have dinged it if he's still trying to get himself right. One thing I know for sure is they're going to try to give us their best. They're not going to use any excuses. Joe Burrow's not going to say, hey, man, my hand was hurting and I was thinking about throwing. He's not going to say that, right? Same thing to Jamar Chase. He's not going to say, well, I just got out here on the football field and see what we're going to do. We don't know if T. Higgins, he didn't practice today. We don't know if he's going to play or not. And so I'm assuming he's going to play. I do. I assume he's going to play. But we won't know that until game time. Heck, we found that out with Christian McCaffrey, right? I lost my fantasy because that joker decided he wanted to do a scratch 5 minutes before the game started. Okay, I'm still mad about that, Marcus.
But the crazy thing about that, I don't know if the NFL's going to do a review on it. If it was us, they probably would have. But the fact that the running back after the game, which I feel bad for the guy, where he said, I knew about Friday, and then we didn't find out until about 10 minutes before the game started.
Look, they gotta cover themselves. And so he said it, but then you seen what's the name it was talking about, like, we didn't quite tell him until Shanahan was like, we didn't really know until the game before it started. But you telling me the running back coach telling him Friday you're gonna be starting. The Christian ain't gonna be doing it. So it's always gonna be a contention right there on how they do that. But you know what, man? Them jokers are something else, man. They are slick. They are slick. So I think the Bengals going to do the exact same thing with T. Higgins, right? So I would. I'll be like, hey, man, this guy's ready to play. You say he's not going to play. Okay, you take him out of the game plan, and all of a sudden, you see him out there before warm-ups, and this sucker's running deep routes. And so that's your deep route hitter too, as far as like running the deep digs and the comebacks and stuff like that. T. Higgs, he's a big deal. He's a big deal. So he's a huge piece of what they do.
I've read some fans seem to think that this is because the hamstring injury came from nowhere. All of a sudden, he was on the injury report right before the game last week. And obviously, hamstring injuries can happen, right? I mean, it's a hamstring, they flare up. But some people think that with his thing not getting figured out, he's playing on a tag, he could want it could be like, hey, like trade me to get me out of here. He wants out of Cincinnati. Like he's remained with that whole thing. Hendrickson was the one who requested a trade, but really said he wanted to get hammered out a long-term deal in Cincy, whereas T. Higgins wants out of Cincinnati. So some fans seem to think that it's kind of like pretty coincidental. The season starts, all of a sudden you have the hamstring injury, but he's had a career of the hamstring injuries. But some fans seem to think that it's coincidental that it happens right when the season starts.
Well, he's got the tag, so he's making money. So my thing would be, if you do this and teams hear about that, they sniff out that you're doing this purposely, nobody's going to sign you to the big deal that you're looking for. They'll hold that against you. They'll hold it against you. I think Chase in himself, he was trying to hold up as long as possible. The problem they got with this, they should have went back to that guy that's back there throwing the football to him. He took all the money. Like somebody said, Charles Robinson, they paid Burrow too much money, and they did. They absolutely did. I'm sorry. We talked about this last year. We said on the sidelines last year I think it was like $150 million, maybe $200 million sitting on the sideline, quarterbacks that was hurt. Joe Burrow being one of them, right? Aaron Rodgers, Herbert, and I think Deshaun Watson was another guy. And so when we sit there talking about these guys getting paid, and look, I ain't got no problem with guys getting money. But I think we do need to have a conversation about quarterbacks, the type of money they're getting paid, and these jokers are here is not producing. Hey, ain't nobody else going there to the Super Bowl. Joe Burrow made it there one year, okay? Having to beat us, and they got lucky. And then we actually have the guy that beat us that game. That's P. Ryan. I put it on him. He was the guy that got there. Now we got it. We got him in our backfield. You think we're not getting some notes from him as far as how they do things?
That's true.
And how guys act and react? I guarantee we are. We picking his brain right now to know exactly what they do and how they operate. So that's the problem. These quarterbacks, man, are making a boatload of money. The only one that deserves that type of money right now that I look at, Patrick Mahomes. Everybody else is inflated. They gave Kirk Cousins big money. Shoot, they gave Dak Prescott big money. Look, and I'm not saying these guys don't deserve good money. They do. But the money that they signed for, you can't justify that to me. Just can't. I'm sorry. So especially when I sit there and look at the other guys who scrounging just to make, a buck, rub two nickels that, worth millions of dollars. I'm just going to say that, right? Like running backs, trying to get $10 million a year, and you got the quarterback making 50. Daniel Jones? Are you kidding me? That's what they paid. They paid Daniel Jones.
Might go down as one of the worst contracts of all time.
Shoot, yeah, absolutely, no question about it. And the thing is, people try to validate. Oh well, Daniel Jones did this and did that. He wouldn't have done none of that stuff without Saquon Barkley. Why do you think Saquon left? He's down there with Philly right now. I'd be pissed off too. I'd be ready to leave. That's crazy. That's crazy. These suckers right here being greedy. I got it. You get a chance to get that money, go get it. Go get it. But Joe Burrow, man, if you want to help your boys out, take a little bit less, Joe. How about that? We ain't seen Joe do that yet, right?
No.
Talking about all of his, his charitable work and stuff like that. It's beautiful for him. Beautiful. Some guys on the team that want some money. Give him a little bit contract, Joe.
I will say it is interesting how, with Cincinnati, for example, they got Burrow, Chase, and Higgins, and they're really refusing to pay. I mean, they're doing the tag on Higgins. They don't want to give him a long-term deal. Chase, apparently they offered him about $35 million a year. He said no to that. And then you look, juxtapose that to Miami, for example. Miami's paid Tyreek, they've paid Waddle, and they've paid Tua. They managed to get all three. I don't know how they've done it, but meanwhile, Cincinnati's having struggling to pay two of those guys.
Yeah, I don't know. Miami's keep getting that money, man. Maybe they bringing that money back from the 80s. That drug money that's been coming over from Colombia. I don't know.
Yeah, that cartel money.
That cartel money. Yeah. So, maybe it's why all the disputes was going on down there, man. They trying to, hey, man, what are you doing? Why are you stopping me, huh? Why are you stopping me? So, I don't know. You got to make light of situations. So,
yeah.
Yeah. But that's not – go ahead.
No, to say, as far as Cincinnati, I know you played for some really good teams in Kansas City, and you played for some teams that kind of struggled a little bit, JD.
Yeah.
When a team is dealing with a myriad of things like the Cincinnati has. How easy for a team like that who's already been dealing with a lot of crap this offseason? You have, receivers taking shots at coaches, play calling, receivers, wanting more money, guys, wanting to leave. When a team like that gets down, and we're talking about this is a team that is a foe for us usually in the playoffs, but if they go down to 0-2, and let's say we put out an early lead on them, teams like that, they usually does it not take a lot for them to kind of fold during a game and stuff, just because like so much crap's already been going on. There's too much bad blood in the locker room right now, kind of swarming the organization.
It's a little tough, man. It's hard to manage disgruntled employees. And so the Chiefs or the Bengals are no different than any other organization out there. And when you have unrest from the higher ups to the guys that are working, there's going to be some tension. It's going to be some hurt feelings. And some things are going to be said because some guys are like, look, I could do without this. I know I can hit that free agency market and somebody's going to pay me that money. If you're not going to go ahead and appreciate for what I do, then I'm ready to hit the door. And I think Jamar Chase and those guys, Higgins, those guys are thinking that. And they should. Hendricks, the same thing. Why wouldn't they? If they know free agency looks better than staying there at the organization that doesn't appreciate them or taking a long time to sign them, and you're not winning, you ain't winning the Super Bowl, okay? Jamar Chase got a bad taste in the mouth because the Chiefs have been hitting him in it all time in and time out. So he only got about 5 teeth left in his mouth from all of that beating he's been taking. I'd be a little upset too. That's tough, man. That's hard. That's hard for an organization to deal with that. I think that's why the Chiefs try to get ahead on some of those guys, right? Let's go ahead and take care of Creed. Let's go ahead and take care of Noah Gray. Let's go ahead and give Travis Kelce an extension. Let's make Patrick Mahomes, one of the highest paid quarterbacks ever. Let's make some sweet deals to get guys in there, right? And so it's good to keep your core group of guys around you. My question is, who are you going to get to replace Higgins and Chase? Okay. Now this is down the road, right? This is down the road. Miami said, we ain't going to get another Tyreek Hill or Waddle. We're not going to get those guys. Okay. Or Tua. So let's keep our core group of guys that we know is going to keep us good and keep those guys happy. I don't know what Cincinnati is holding in their vault, but you're right. They've always been a little tight with their money. But they opened up the purse strings for Joe Burrow. We keep going back to that. So those guys, you think they ain't, they a little salty. I mean, I know Joe Burrow wants to be happy for him and say, hey, man, I hope you get your deal. You took all of it. I would have had a deal if you didn't take all the money. Yeah, leave some for us too. Leave some for us too. So, yeah, Chiefs were brilliant to lock down Patrick for a decade. That's what you do. Why would you want to go get somebody else? If he's the answer, he's the guy, you make sure you keep him there. Joe Burrow's the answer for them. I still think he's overpaid. He's got hurt, obviously, because of injuries. But your 2 wide receivers on the outside, man, I don't know if you're going to get him better than that, Marcus. It's hard to do, especially in free agency, to get guys that produce like they do. Jamar Chase is a great receiver, and so is T. Higgs. So I ain't taking nothing away from him. Them dudes are 2 talented wide receivers. So that's what we got to contend with, man. Or they got to contend with, especially in their organization.
It's such a variety of talents too. You have one guy who kind of does it all, and you have T. Higgins who's that jump ball threat. I mean, the fact that they got both those guys, and when they did, they know how to draft. They know how to draft their talent as far as receivers. I mean, look at the history of these guys: Hushmanzada, Ocho Cinco, Chase, and T. Higgins. I mean, they know how to find them. It seems like they don't know how to keep them.
Same thing, man, with Joe Mixon. You see how he did when he was down there at Houston, man. He was slashing folks up.
He looked like he was he touched the fountain of youth.
Man, look, sometimes that happens. Sometimes you just need a new environment, right? Sometimes you just need to back up from everything, start fresh, go to a new place, and say, hey, man, we'll take you. Hell yeah, you're a hell of a player. We'd love to have you. They want to, okay, fine. Come on down here. And he did. And you see him. That sucker got a new step in there. I'm like, man, Joe Mixon, woo. I thought he was done. I didn't pick him up in fantasy because I thought he was finished. But yeah.
I drafted him in one league. I was very happy about his usage last week.
Did you? Okay. Yeah.
30 carries. I honestly don't even remember last time he got 30 carries in the game because Cincinnati's become more of a pass-happy offense. So
yeah. Well, you said y'all don't want to pay me either. So we got to kick rocks. They got the dude Brown up there, man. He ain't the answer.
He's
At
not.
least not right now. I don't, maybe he'll be good later on, but I just don't see it. He's not a Joe Mixon. I know that.
Zach Moss is all right. I mean, I think Zach Moss is better than Chase Brown is, but I mean, I think it's tough to kind of for those two guys to kind of fill in the gaps for what Mixon did, because Mixon did it all. And P. Ryan 2 years ago,
yeah. Zach Moss did a good job when what's his name was down in Indianapolis.
He did.
So he was a good back. I picked him up as fantasy too. See, we talking about fantasy.
Yeah,
so.
It's the name of the game.
But let me question. So Melly Matrix says, do you think the quarterback salaries bubble pop at some point? I think so. I do, Melly. I do. You know what? It has to. You need to. You're right. You're absolutely right. I just, for what these guys are making, it's just unheard of. I just don't see it continuing to go on this same trend. At some point, they're going to have to bring a cap because other guys want to get paid. They do. And look, quarterbacks, we understand their hands on the ball every single snap, just like the centers is just about, right? But you still have to facilitate it to guys that's going to be able to catch the ball and do well. And sometimes these guys is out there catching the football make you right. They make catches, that, some other guys just can't do. So do I think these guys are 500% getting paid better than other guys? No, I don't. So.
Yeah, they have their hands full, especially with this whole Chase thing lingering. And because the thing about him is he's playing, he's not happy with his targets. He's also disgruntled about his contract. And then after games when they're losing, it's like, well, talk to coach about the amount of targets I'm getting. I only got 6 targets. I need more touches. And it's like, okay, well, that's another wrinkle. And if you keep losing, those problems will continue to. You'll continue to see comments like that at post game.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that sucker he had that little look. He's like pissed off. I'm like, that joker right there is pissed. He is pissed. He's upset. So
when you were playing, was that like a known thing? Like there are certain franchises that were cheap, and was that like a known thing about since you're going to Cincinnati for a visit, good luck there kind of thing?
Oh yeah,
really?
Absolutely. Yeah, guys know they talk. Absolutely. They'll let you know exactly what they try to hold on to, what they're not going to do. I told you, I remember when I went to New England, and Charlie Weiss was the offensive coordinator. And so I think this was my second free agency when I was leaving from Kansas City. So I go up there. Oh, Jason, man, we love what you do. We seen, you started in Philadelphia, we want to bring you up here to be a starter and all of this. And they wine me and dime me. Me and Charlie go out and go get us. Man, we had lobster, steak, and all the good things. And, man, bring it over. Bring all you want, bottles of wine. We had a great time that night talking about offensively what we want to do, right? How do you want to utilize me? Got on the board, start talking about plays, everything. This is what we wanted. And I was just like, okay, this is it. This is going to be perfect place for you. And so, sure enough, when it came down to it, they're like, oh, well, okay, Jason. So I'm still there with Charlie. Charlie, like, yeah, man, you're gonna fit here. We'd love to have you. So I'm like, all right, cool. So he's like, okay, let me go talk to the guy, the money guy. So I get there to the money guy. I'm sitting down. He's like, man, everything, man, Jason, we seen everything you want to do. But, this is what we got for you. We ain't got too much money that man, look. I don't think I got through the entire presentation. I was like, you know what? I stood up and was like, hey, I appreciate it. Thank you. All right. I got on my phone. My agent's like, hey, man, get me up out of here, man. These jokers is, you know what I'm saying? And I'm talking to Bill and all those guys. And Bill's like, hey, man, Jason, you're a hell of a player. I'd love to have you. What you've been doing over these years. Obviously he's been watching because I've been going against him.
Yeah.
And when it came down to it, they was real tight with their money. So teams will do that. New England is definitely one of the places for sure, right? But yeah, Cincinnati does have that. They have that reputation. They have their reputation.
Interesting, huh? It's not surprising that Belichick would be a fan of you. I could see him being a big fan of you. So that's not a surprise there. But they were known as being penny pinchers when it came to that kind of stuff.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And you knew that going into the trip.
Not as much.
Okay.
Not as much. because I don't remember anybody coming from New England to Kansas City before I gotten up there. And this is before they started all the winning. Matter of fact, that year that I was going to get signed with them, they ended up winning the Super Bowl. It was the first Super Bowl they had won, with, I guess, the whole, Brady era and those guys, I think. That's when it first happened. So it's crazy. It's crazy. But, hey, man, it's how it went down. It's how it went down. Man. So I look at, there were two teams that did that. New England won it that year I was going to sign with them. And then New Orleans Saints won. Yeah, I was going to sign with them too. So, and I told you.
So Sean was trying to get you over there.
Yeah, I told Sean was, he was my quarterback coach up in Philly when I was up there. Him and Joe Vitt. Joe Vitt was a linebacker coach. Came to Kansas City, linebacker coach. So I knew a lot of guys. Man, I knew the trainer. The trainer Scotty was down there as a trainer. So I knew a lot of guys because that was part of, when you talk about the coaching tree and all these guys knowing each other, that was part of it. But yeah, me and Sean, yeah, absolutely, that's my dude. Yeah, I know Sean, real well. Yeah, so he was gonna get me down there, man. And at the time they had Jeremy Shockey. Shockey was down there, and so they was like, man, JD, man, we need to get you in here so you can teach a guy how to be a pro. Do it this way, and get toughen up, do things. I was like, hey, all right, good to do it. And so I elected not to go down there. So,
well, we're happy to have you in Kansas City for as long as we did, JD. It takes now there. We're trying to talk about the amount of Chiefs players who have been there for the tenure you were there, and we kept going down guys like you would think Priest. Priest is a Hall of Fame name when it comes to Kansas City. You played longer in Kansas City than he did. Dante Hall, another fixture in Kansas City. You played longer in Kansas City than he did. We kept going down the list. I mean, even the guys in the recent years. I mean, you can't really think of many guys. Tyreek didn't play as long as you did in Kansas City. So it's like there's so many guys, man, that you're probably one of about a handful, maybe 20 guys, maybe all time who played with Kansas City as long as you did. It's kind of wild, man.
It's wild. It's wild to me that a lot of people don't know that. It wasn't like I was there for a two-year tenure or three. I played there for 8 years.
Yeah,
I was a staple for that offense. And so people that watched back then, they know exactly who I was. 100%. So it wasn't like when I hear people, I see some dude tell me, man, you was a backup tight end. First off, let me say this, all right? I was a 1A, 1B type of guy. Okay, that's what I was. I was a starter when I was in Philly, and I was going down there and I was stretching the defense. And so when I got to Kansas City, I knew exactly what my role was going to be. We ran a 2 tight end set. Obviously, Tony was the guy, and that was fine. But they understood what my contribution was. You know what I'm saying? And so when I see Noah Gray out there, that's why I'm so happy for Noah Gray getting the type of money he's getting. I'm looking like, man, backup tight ends are getting this, or the guys that are getting out and playing. And I was playing somewhere around 70 to 75% of the snaps, Marcus, on offense. 75% of the snaps. And so
you were always in. I mean, as me, a young buck growing up, I remember you playing. It wasn't like, oh, you were the backup. You were always on the field. And when people think of backup, generally that guy barely touches the field. You were in most of the time. I hardly remember a series when you weren't in on offense as a kid.
Right. Yeah. And that's where we were killing it like that. Me, T. Rich would come in. That package, you just couldn't stop us running or catching the football. So I was catching a lot of passes, man. And so because that's why I say that tight end thing was so deadly. That's what New England wanted to do when I got up there with me. That's why they ended up getting Gronk and they start getting Hernandez. You start seeing the sort of what that trend starting to happen through the NFL, starting doing more of that 2 tight end set. 2 tight end set, man, we started it. We was the one that started all that. And they seen how effective we were. Well, the reason was because me and Tony, man, was out there, kicking tail and taking names. Me, him, T. Rich, the offensive line. I know they said offensive line, but shoot, they keep forgetting 89 was right there, part of that deal. I was a glorified offensive lineman. Those guys will tell you, man, look, Thor, a dungeon, JD had there. Hey, JD was right there beside us. No question about it. So, but my thing is, I'm fine with that, as far as people not knowing it. I had gotten a lot of more of the accolades and stuff from all the guys that I played with. They understood that. And so, I've always appreciated that, man. Because sometimes when people look into like the tight ends, the best tight ends of the era, and I think I've seen something like Arrowhead Live or something like that, I think I was like one of the top 5. I was like number 5 best tight ends in Chiefs history. People, huh? What? Take what? Yeah, or honorable mention. Like even in that conversation, man, is beautiful to know.
Because while your numbers, you could say they were not quantifiable. They were quantifiable, and when you look at the running backs who you blocked for, and people would say, "Oh, they did a great line." No. Look at a lot of times on those outside. But look who's right there. Shielding off guys for Priest or LJ to come through, or even their blade lock. I mean, your numbers were quantifiable in that respect, and that's people who don't know ball just look at stats and yards, catches, and receiving touchdowns. That's all people look at. People don't look at the other aspect of things.
No question about it. And that was the thing about when you see like Priest and those guys getting in and shoot, they was incredible backs. And you talk about the line, I was part of that entire machine, and we were a machine. We led the league, in offense. I think for about 3 or 4 years straight, we was right there, number 1, number 2, and there wasn't no question about it. And so that's why I say, man, Priest need to get the accolades. He's a guy that I say has to be in the conversation, and I don't know if it warrants it or not, but at least in my eyes, maybe consideration for the Hall of Fame. He had a Hall of Fame career for like 3 or 4 years, man. There wasn't nobody doing what Priest was doing. That's the reality of it. And so, yeah, man, we were some bad boys back then. Bad boys.
I think I was reading something like that a couple of years ago that for guys like Priest Holmes, their numbers may not never meet the criteria of the Pro Football Hall of Fame, that we are trending in a direction in this day and age, talk about fantasy football, where they will have a Fantasy Football Hall of Fame. And if you look at that, and obviously, you can make laugh jokes about it. I bet it's becoming the thing now, right? Whereas Priest Holmes, in the beginning of fantasy football, Priest Holmes was a every year number 1 pick in fantasy football. Him and LaDainian Thompson were number 1 and 2 every year. It was a little bit for Sean Alexander was up there for a little bit too. But like those two were the guys back in the early 2000s. So there is a Fantasy Football Hall of Fame. Priest Holmes would be a first ballot guy, and that's anyone who played fantasy football back in the early 2000s.
Absolutely, there's no question. Early 2000s, probably ran probably to 2000 to 2007 and 8. Man, them guys are just running through everything. Priest, LaDainian, Larry Johnson. So everything was coming through the AFC West, no question about it. So
and Portis too, as well. That was also in that same period too.
That's right. Some bad boys back then, man. Some bad boys. I was on the show last night, and we were just talking about that era of how everything's just transitioned for tight ends. Tight ends that play back then, we would have loved to be in an offense like this, where you just throw the ball up and down the field. Come on. Absolutely. Sign me up. Sign me up.
Your skill set. Everyone's making a big deal about Kyle Pitts running a 4.5, and it was like, well, I know a guy who did that in 1996, and it was right there.
Enough about me, man. Let's get back to the boys out here, man. That's playing on the ball on the ground right now.
Like Zulu says, though, we are lucky to have you, JD. We were lucky to watch you play for as long as we did in Kansas City, and we're still lucky to have you a part of Chiefs Kingdom and being this great content creator in Chiefs Kingdom.
Appreciate it. Thank you for the love, man. I appreciate you all. Seriously, I appreciate you guys, every single one of you. So,
all right. So now we're going to get into more the nitty gritty of this upcoming game, following the Patriots model. So, while the Patriots did not blow the doors off of Cincinnati this past week, and they played a great game of ball control, having the ball for 9 minutes more than Cincinnati by end of game, a commitment to the run, rushing ball 25 times to Ramondre Stevenson for 120 yards, and they contained the Bengals offense. They had 3 sacks, 2 turnovers, all while doing this with a conservative approach. They just set 4 pass rushes on 77% of the dropbacks and played 60% zone while having 60-40 split between split safety coverage and single high. Just 7 times the Patriots rushed 5 or more players. They held Burrows to 4 of 13 on third down, 36% on third down, and also containing their new look rushing attack to only 70 yards between Chase Brown and Zach Moss. And they did all this. They contained their Bengals offense, and this is probably the most surprising part, which is why I think we're going to have a field day against them. They did this with only a 17% pressure rate. 17% is not good at all. That's all.
Good, yeah.
And they did all this with only 17% pressure rate. Obviously, very conservative approach they went with defense. They don't have the guys that we have on defense, but nonetheless, JD, seeing what they did with the running the ball with Ramondre Stevenson, who had a pretty down year last year for his standards going into last year, 25 times 120 yards with very limited offense with, not Patrick Mahomes back there. They have Jacoby Brissett, who's a solid quarterback, but he's not Patrick Mahomes. And, it's the whole new staff they have over there. Do you think this week could be a big week for Pacheco and our defense to kind of tee off on the kind of lackluster offense that we saw from Cincinnati last week?
Yeah, no question. I think that, for going into the game, you got to control the line of scrimmage on both sides of the ball. But offensively, we got the big guys up front. I think you got to go ahead and start attacking them. Pacheco, P-Ryan, Carson Steele, whoever it may be back there. You just got to give them the football and just let them go. I think that's basically what you have to do. And a lot of it is, just running straight downhill. Pacheco, you just get him going right there off tackle, get him a couple dives, maybe a couple counters. If you do the delayed draw, all those different things that we do really well, it's going to help out. So we do also too, the zone. You do any type of zone against those guys, it works pretty well. They got some good defensive ends that we know we had to contend with, which is fine. I have no problem with that whatsoever. But we understand that the line of scrimmage has got to be number one A-OK to control against these guys. If you do that, you control the football, keep it in Patrick's hands all day, we're going to have a solid game. Not to mention now moving toward the tight ends and to the outside to the wide receivers. I don't think you have anybody that's going to be able to contend with Travis Kelce. The good thing is because Worthing and Rice had such a good game last week, now they come into the equation. You can't double Travis Kelce like you did. Hopefully everybody's sleeping on him and saying, Travis Kelce's done lost a step. He's not the same guy. And then all of a sudden he hits you over the head for 8 for like 160 yards and 2 tubs. So that's what I'm looking for. And I think, for him, he gave a lot in the running game last week, and he will this week. But I think down the field, Patrick's going to get him going. Let's throw the football to him, and let's just see what he's going to be able to do. 8-7 man, he's going to be out there, and he's going to be on fire. The other thing, right? Xavier Worthy, okay, comes in. Same thing. You've already set up the reverse with him. Now you set up with him going in motion, maybe, faking the reverse, and throwing the ball down the field. I think you do some of that. You got to keep him in motion. You got to keep him moving around, because they may try to go ahead and come up and press on Xavier Worthy because he's more of a thinner type of guy. He's going to be fine. You move him around, doing some motion, getting on the other side of the football, get him up the field, maybe a couple of switch routes that you have on him. I think he's probably going to have a pretty good game too. And so you just got to be creative how you're going to go ahead and get him the football. The thing is, just say like every philosophy, you talking about just have them cover every blade of grass out there. That's what you're going to do. And so when you have another guy, okay, let's go to the guy, the man, Rashid Rice. Rashid Rice, when I said he was a slot assassin, I'm telling you, he's going to slice anybody up who's going out, who's covering him. Who you going to put on him? A linebacker? You going to put on the safety? You're going to bring in a nickel guy? Even if you decide to get in the sub package and the dime, Rashid Rice is big enough, he's going to win. Okay. He's got a lot of speed. He's got a lot of size. He's very strong. I think right now he's going to have a good game too. How do you contend against a guy like that? Move him around. They did the same thing with him. They wanted to move him around to see what the match is going to be from their standpoint. So I think right now we got our druthers. We do. People don't know what druthers are. Druthers, you have it, kind of the way you want. And we get him moving around a little bit, man. It's gonna be a fun day for us. So we work out the kinks from the very first game, right? We didn't do everything right. But I've said this, these guys are on a mission. They're on a mission offensively to be dominant the entire game. I don't think they lose confidence with anybody whatsoever. We haven't talked about Hollywood Brown. He didn't practice. I don't see him coming out playing this game. I think he'll probably come out third game, like I said at the beginning when he first got hurt, that he will probably be maybe a 4 or 5 week process for him. And so I think we probably wait for another week. We still got Noah Gray. We still got Jared Wiley. We still got Justin Watson. We still got McCall Hardman. We still got Sky Moore. Maybe we see some of those guys coming in and eat a little bit, right? So I would take it to the Bengals every chance we got. One thing you do to help yourself out, stretch the defense. We got a guy in Xavier Word that can do that. We got a guy on Rashee Rice that can do that. We got a guy on Justin Watson that can do that. And so when you start doing those things, stretching the defense, open up the field a little bit more, now you can breathe. Now you can hand the ball off to Pacheco. Now you can get it down to Travis Kelce. Now you can drop it off to Sanjay P. Ryan. Hey, I'll let Sanjay know right now. I'll go right there, touch him in his chest. Sanjay, they let you go. They didn't think you was good enough to be out here to play for them. Okay? What are you going to do about it? What are you going to do? This is something you can get back. So they didn't believe in you. And what I know is when you play against your old team, you want to show them what's up. That's what you want to do. So get the ball to Sanjay P. Ryan. Let him come in, man. He's going to be on fire. He's going to be on fire. So that's what you got to do offensively. You got to do those things, right? Now, defensively, let me talk about this real quick, right? I always go through defensive objectives, okay? So you got to create turnovers. We need turnovers against these guys, okay? That's one thing Joe Burrow's been good at is throwing the ball to other people that's not in the same jersey, all right? I want to see Jamar Chase got that like this coming up to after the game like that, the same thing again against the Chiefs, okay, in that locker room. I want to see that from Jamar Chase. Hurt, don't know what to do, don't know what to say, pissed off, throwing a hissy fit. I want to see those things from him, okay? So got to win on the first down. Like you said, Brown, I don't think it's going to do it for him. Zach Moss might be the guy because they're going to try to throw the ball to him out of the backfield. We got to shut that down, all right? Don't give up the big play. We understand that. That's one thing. They're going to try our corners. They're going to see what Jamar Chase is going to be able to do. I understand right now at this point, Jamar Chase wants to get back into the swing of things, all right? We cannot give up the big play. He's a big-time receiver. He makes big plays. We cannot give it up to him. And if we have McDuffie traveling with him, that's what we got to be able to do. We don't know if Higgins is going to go out and he's going to play. If he's not, we got to prepare ourselves like he is, okay? Jalen Watson did a great job last time. If it's Joshua Williams, if it's Najee, whoever it may be, guys got to be ready and prepared, right? Eliminate foolish penalties, okay? We didn't really have a whole lot of defensive penalties this past game. We can't go into some bad penalties, holding guys, okay? If you're going to get beat on a play, I ain't got no problem with you grabbing a dude, so he don't hit his head on the goalpost. I don't have no problem with that. If you had to grab him, then you just line up and play the next play. And then we got to be able to do this. Can we score on defense? I'm waiting for us to score on defense. I think this week we have a chance and opportunity, okay? We hit the running backs hard. We go up there and take one. Hopefully McDuffie gets one this year. I want to see McDuffie go out there and actually, compete and get a couple of picks. He was great knocking the ball down. I want him to take it to the other side, to the house. And so we had to go ahead and do that thing as well. But for right now, Marcus, those things is to me, defensively, they're going to have to do that to win the game. And so obviously we go to the winning on special teams. I think we got a big, heads up on those things as far as like being better than them. So those are the keys, winning the game against them. So
now, when you see that they were able to, obviously with their 17% pressure rate was Patriots last week, but the fact they were only rushing 4 guys pretty much all game, they still managed to get 3 sacks, and then they have with their 2 turnovers, fumbles. And when I see that reminds me of how they play us. They usually don't blitz. They don't send blitzers when they come together. They usually just they rush their front 4, and that's pretty much it. Or sometimes front 3, and they come get us. And they kind of wreak havoc with guys like Hendrickson, who we've kind of said Karlaftis reminds us of that, a guy who's got a nonstop motor. But it's funny that seems like they're susceptible to what they generally do against us, and I think that's kind of interesting.
Yeah, it is. I got to go and kind of check that game out a little bit more as far as like how they was able to come out. But we know that Spags like bringing blitzes from different places, and I think they're not used to that, seeing those type of things. And we're going to test it. We're going to test exactly how the fortitude of that offensive line and their backs. We didn't really get to hit home last week. Chris Jones came out there. He's going to be solid this week, but we need to see more out of our defensive ends. We talked about that. Karlaftis, FAU, Dannon, Herring. All those guys. Warranty, they had a good job. They had a good game last week. We want to see Nnamdi do a much better job. Now we'll start seeing some of the linebackers come up here, Drew Tranquil. Let him come in and let him eat. Bringing Reed down. Let him come off the edge, come up the middle, whatever it needs to do. And so I think if we do that, bring that pressure, we're going to hit home. We're going to hit home quite a few times.
Yeah, I hope so. I guess my whole thing is if he is indeed injured and the fact he's not wanting to throw the ball downfield, I think with our blitz packages, with who we have up front and Chris Jones, I think Burrow's going to try to get rid of that ball quickly like he was doing last week. And 4 for 13 on third down, that's not a recipe for success in this league, no matter who you play. And even when you play, a team that was almost nearly a 10-point underdog against you, that's not going to win many games.
No, it's not. So Todd Tofree said Bolton needs to have a good game.
Uh-oh.
Yes, he does. Okay. And let me get into this. If you haven't seen me on Twitter, you didn't see this a little bit that we talked about Bolton and him getting to about where he needs to be. I've been defending this guy, and he really doesn't need me to defend him. He doesn't. His number speaks for itself. And I call some of these people out here, fair weather Bolton fans. All right. Some took, offense to it. And what I was saying is, if you look what fair weather means, it means that you own a guy when he's up and the team when they're up, and when they're down, you jump ship. So my thing is, I think there is a little bit of some fair weatherness going on with Nick Bolton. Here we're talking about a prolific tackler, okay? He has been an unbelievable linebacker for us since he's been here. Last year he was hurt. We understand that. Got hurt. Dislocated wrist is what he had, Marcus. Dislocated wrist. Man misses 9 games. He comes back. Still trying to get back in shape because you can't practice when you have surgery on your wrist, right? You can't hit. You can't simulate the physicality of the game. And then all of a sudden, when he comes back, he still got to get into shape. So he comes back a couple games and he's still slow because he's still trying to gauge, how do I make a tackle with this big old thing on my wrist, right? Something new to him. So it took him a couple of games to get back to where he was. The last 5 games of the season, he's lights out Bolton again. That's who he is, okay? That's what he was doing. He was killing guys in the game. So my thing is this, okay? And everybody's talking about his cover skills. Oh, well, Bolton can't cover this and that. But if you look at his PFF, the grade they gave him in 2022, he was right up there almost about 80% in cover, okay? He was one of the top cover linebackers in the NFL at that time, okay? Better than Drew Tranquil, okay? The guy that we got here. So he slows down last year. Why? Because he had a lot of injuries, okay? He was a little bit out of shape. He had to come back in, but he got back up there. And the thing is, I'm not saying he's the best cover linebacker. We ain't asking to be Fred Warner, okay? We ain't, there's guys that do certain things good and some things well. Bolton can cover guys when he needs to, okay? He is still trying to work himself back into shape. Will he have a good game this week? We don't know. We don't know. I know they don't have the type of tight ends that they used to have, okay? There's some guys that's okay. But Bolton, from what he does, he's a very capable cover guy. He's a very capable cover guy. Am I saying he's better than Drew Tranquil? Maybe not. I don't know. I tell you what, he could contend with him. It's not like he's just terrible. Bolton gets the job done in the passing game. That's the reason Spags has him out there. He has him out there because he knows that Bolton understands the entire defense. You don't have to be the best cover guy. You just have to be in the best position possible to win that rep. And most of the times he's there. So yeah, he's gonna challenge guys in the passing game. Okay. So the slander is crazy to me with this whole Nick Bolton. It's crazy. I just don't understand it. Somebody was like, well, he lost a step and he doesn't have the athleticism. I'm like, give me that athleticism that you lost a step in. Let me have that. Okay? Because he looks damn well pretty good. Now, he still got to get into shape. Nobody's saying that. He still has to get into shape. Nick Bolton will tell you that. Nick Bolton will tell you he'll need to have a better game. And I hope he does. And I will say the same thing. He needs to have a much better game. And so I trust that he's getting himself back together. I trust that he's getting himself back into shape. Guess what? If he have a better game, Drew Tranquil, Chanel, all those guys are going to be right there helping him in that whole process, okay? This is what these guys do. Those guys do a great job of covering each other's backs, and it's no different. So I'm not expecting to run around the field covering everybody like Likely, okay? And Likely's not just somebody, just a tight end that's a decent guy. He's a hell of a receiving tight end. He is. Okay. He's going to give anybody fits. Anybody. And so that's my thing, what I'm saying about it in contention. So, yes, he needs to have a much better game. No question about it. Okay. And I think he will. And so just like Mike Brennan says, Spags has Bolton in the heart of the D. Absolutely. For a reason. And Spags we trust. No doubt about it. Spags know Bolton better than me, you, and anybody else out here, what he's doing, what he's capable about doing. Okay. And he wouldn't put him in a situation he's not able to do it. Now, if he's not in shape and he's like, okay, we'll have you matched up now doing this, Bolton, they will. Okay. And I trust their game plan to be what it needs to be. So, yeah, I agree with you. He definitely needs to have a much better game. He'll get there. I said week 3, we'll probably see the Bolton of old, and I trust that. But no doubt about it, Chanel played a great game. He's going to be a key guy for us as well. So I'm just one of those guys, man. I support my guys, but I understand the process of when you hurt, trying to get back on the field, how long it takes to get back in shape when you didn't have a chance to really get yourself in shape. It takes time. It takes time. People just want things instantly to happen. And so it's crazy to me how many people just kind of jump ship on a guy when he's not at his best. It's almost like kicking a guy when he's down. You know, kick him when he's down? Come on, man. It ain't cool.
I think it's a combination of he's not playing well and he's on a contract year. So it's like, okay, I know what we might have to pay him. So, like, it's better off let me jump ship now before, like, you know, we don't have to pay him in the offseason kind of thing. I think that's what some people are maybe logic.
I heard that too, that we don't want to pay him Fred Warner money. Is he asking for Fred Warner money? I don't think he's asking that. Who knows? Yeah, I'm not saying he needs to get Fred Warner money. But can you make an argument that Nick Bolton is probably the best linebacker since we had since DJ? Certainly. And so for them, I think the Chiefs are exploring that. And I said the reason that he probably hadn't been signed or they're withholding some of that money is because he has been hurt. And that's just NFL business. That's what that is. So I wouldn't say it's based off of his production. We know he can produce. He's been producing. So
and I'll say this too: the level of tight end he's playing against this week with Drew Sample, Mike Gesicki, I think he'll be all right comparatively to last week's test.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. Gesicki he's a receiving tight end, but you blow on that joker, it's over. He'll fold quick.
Yeah.
He'll fold quick. So
yeah.
Susie said Bolton saved our ass on that last Bengals play, putting pressure on Likely to keep his foot in. Yes, he did. After he Likely had gotten over top of Drew Tranquil. Okay. And Bolton did what he needed to do just to get that toe out there on that line, just to push it. And so and
then what that shows you is it's having a short memory. Obviously, he can put his head down after getting dominated by Likely all game. He can put his head down, his tail between his legs, but no, he kept playing and he made that play at the end where that little toe was out of bounds. You could say because of Bolton there with that little push. Yeah,
no question. So yeah, I mean, I've been going this past week over the Bolton deal, man. I'm just like, yo, hey man, I'm gonna tell you the real. And so from a player standpoint and a coach's standpoint, we don't give up on players because they're having a hard time. Okay. And we understand the guy might be injured, but we do understand the value of what he brings to the entire scope of a team. And so he may not be 100% at his best, but his 90 or 85 or whatever it may be is still better than a lot of other people that you have. Right. So.
Yeah, you got a comment from Go for Casey Forever. I'm a Chiefs fan over players. So that was his point, I guess, in regards to Bolton.
He said what now?
I'm a Chiefs fan over players. So Chiefs first over players.
You can't have Chiefs without the players.
That's true.
Those are guys that make it go. And so when you're talking about a guy like Nick Bolton who is so impactful in the things that we do, you can't discount that. So yeah, you could be Chiefs over players, but it takes the players to comprise a team to win. So yeah, you can be Chiefs over players if you want to, but the Chiefs will tell you, hey, man, look, we need that guy. We need a guy right here to go ahead and win when we need to, right? So we need a Bolton during the playoffs who's going to get 13 tackles, 10 tackles, and all those different things. Need a guy.
He followed up his comment by saying, I love all Chiefs players, but if they're playing like he has before. So I guess he loves him when he's playing on the top of his game, not when he's playing on his
fair weather. Go for KC forever, fair weathering. There it is, fair weathering, my man. Right? Hey, look, I'm just saying. I get it. Okay. That's, and people are like that. People like that. I shoot. Fine. And that's all right. You wear it on your sleeve. You can wear it on your sleeve, brother. Okay. I'm just saying, as far as like from a player, that's we know it. Shoot. We understand. Everybody,
well, there's a good example of that last year in baseball. I'll give a baseball example. In the Philadelphia Phillies, Trey Turner, their shortstop, he was having a really bad year. And obviously, Philadelphia, everyone knows players, they boo when guys are in slumps. They get booed, like, oh, no, you suck, kind of thing. Instead of that, when he was going up to bat, he was getting cheers and applauses. And, and he said that really helped him get out of a slump to know the fans were backing him and behind him through his really low slump of him not really hitting good at all. And he got out of a slump. And, he's been tearing it up since then. That was last year.
It helps, man. It helps when the tough times, and my brother Stu was sitting there saying that some people kick you when you're down. Yeah, they do, but you do have people that lift you up, right? Stuart Osman says everybody gets kicked while they're down. Not everybody. You got a good support system, which he does in the team. His coaches believe in him. Okay, that's all they need to worry about is the ones that's in the locker room. And you hear coaches say it all the time. Hey, there's only the guys in here that believed in us. And we seen it all last year when people was belling and fair weathering on the Chiefs not to win it all. Okay. And I get it. It was a little tight for some people, but we never wavered. At least, I didn't. I know you said, Mark, you're like, I don't know. But as a player, you got to believe you're going to be able to win. You got to believe you got to be able to pull it out. And for us, I don't think we have that luxury. Because anytime that creeps into your mind that you don't have your guys back that's out there right beside you, then you lose. That's why I said this year, I believe when Patrick put his head in there and these guys out there, they're going to do it for them. They're going to do it for them, okay? And it's not saying that they're not going to do it for the fans and everything. Obviously going to do it for the fans and organization. But they're saying we're putting in the work. We deserve these things. We deserve these things. John Clifford said, coach is going to the wheelbarrow. Absolutely. Get in the wheelbarrow. If you ain't heard the wheelbarrow story, get in the wheelbarrow. Okay? So, he didn't play. So I didn't follow Neil Smith to Denver. That's fine. When he played for the Chiefs. So when you talk about Chiefs over everything, over players, the player's still playing for the Chiefs. He goes somewhere else, fine. You don't have to follow him. Okay? If you liked him when he was in Denver, if he's a good player, you should like guys because they're good players. I like talent. I like seeing talented guys out there. I do. But when he's on the team, he's a Chief, he's wearing that jersey, I'm rooting for that guy 100%. We did the same thing with LRZ. Newt, did the same thing with LRZ, man. Guess what, Newt? Guess what? I still look at LRZ as our guy. I look at him, okay? He might be in a different jersey right now, and he might have went somewhere else. But he started with us, baby. He was our guy, right?
And just like Newt, he's still following us, even though he's an LRZ guy. There you go. He's a day one Chiefs guy.
He's a day one Chiefs guy. And you're talking about Neil Smith. Neil Smith lives in Kansas City. That's his home.
Yep.
That's his home. And people pat him on the back, love him when they see him. That is his home. Okay. So
yeah, and also too, you're making the point as Nick Bolton's still on the Chiefs. If he's having a rough spot right now, not to jump ship because Bolton hasn't hit free agency yet. Go for Casey forever. He hasn't hit free agency, so he's still a Chiefs guy. So still back him while he's maybe not playing the best right now.
Yeah, I hear these guys, and what you all said, I still follow DeMarcus Robinson today. And everybody has different things. When I see DeMarcus Robinson catch football, I'm like, hey, look at him. Hey, Chiefs guy. I love seeing it. Tyreek Hill doing what he's doing down there, killing them. I'm like, shoot, he learned that in Kansas City. Shoot, that's what he did. So that's the reason. That's the reason. But my thing is, we got to give them guys support when they are down. That's what I'm saying. Like the fan weathering is a problem. I don't want you dropping a guy because he played for well. I want the Chiefs to do well. Okay, but this guy he's so imperative to the things that we do for our success. Okay, he is. But I'm not, man. Hey, I got you. Everybody has what they believe. I ain't got no problem with it. I ain't got no problem with it whatsoever.
Yeah. So there's a few questions that we have in the chat. I'm gonna get to them after we do our final topic right here. Our final topic is game predictions. So week 2 at 4:25 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, the Chiefs will be hosting the Cincinnati Bengals in rematches of AFC championships of years past. This will be a CBS game on Sunday, 4:25. Chiefs are a 5-point favorite. Bengals are a 5-point dog, coming off a very ugly loss at home to the New England Patriots last week. And, of course, we won our nail-biting game on Thursday night. So we've had a little mini bye, so about 10 days to prep for this one. JD, who do you have in this game and why?
So I'm just writing this thing down. Okay. I almost got the prediction last week. But I think I'm going to be on it again this week. I think we're going to score. It's going to be 28-17. Okay, the Chiefs. And the thing is, I think same thing with what we do offensively. 4 touchdowns is something that we can definitely achieve against this team. They're going to be stout. They're going to try to bring it. But I do believe, almost like it was last week, we're going to have our way with them. Pacheco's going to run. He's going to probably get a tub. Patrick's going to get a tub. I see Rashee Rice getting one. Shoot, what's name? It may end up happening too, to be honest with you. Pacheco. So I know that's what I'm looking for right now is Pacheco, possibly 2, Travis, and Rashee Rice getting into the end zone. So that's what I'm looking at, 28-17. They're going to probably catch one. Jamar Chase will catch one. He'll probably throw another one. We don't know if T. Higgins is going to play or not. We probably won't know until the end of that. But, yeah, might be a garbage points coming down there for real. But I do think it's going to be 28-17, man, in Arrowhead, GHA Stadium. Now, I see Todd said, Jason, why Spags don't account for running backs out the backfield on 3rd down? He does. He accounts for it. The difficulty on covering a back out the backfield is probably right around 8 to 10. That's hard to do. That's a hard matchup. That's why guys do it. That's why offenses look for, getting a running back to get out there to the flat or get over the football, or maybe the wheel route or something of that nature, because more than likely you're going to be lined up against a linebacker. And to be honest with you, if any running back is worth his salt, he should be the linebacker. He should. So the thing is, you just got to keep the running back in front of you to just make sure you don't get the first down. That's your job as a running back or as a linebacker. Is just make sure he don't get that first down. So they run an isolation. You try to isolate them. That's how it works, right? Same thing in NBA. When you look at it, them guys like, man, clear out. Clear out. Okay, I got this guy. It's going to be isolation. So it's no different. Though Spags, he accounts for it. The thing is, when you have a linebacker coming in any sub package, you run nickel, dime, whatever it is that you do. Okay, you could try to match up. You run motion like they did, and I'm going back to that play where Hill went to the flat, and Bolton didn't get out there to the flat fast enough. He's the one guy flash against his face, but I seen it looked like there might have been some communication how they was designating guys. And I don't know who the safety was. I had to go back and see. But I don't know if Bolton thought that guy was going to get him, because it's designation. If you go from outside to in, I'll give you a little football right here. And I had to write up on the board. When we do this, probably on Friday, we get up here. But the designation starts from outside in, okay? Sometime in man or 2 man, whatever you do, man underneath is you'll go 1, 2, and 3, okay, to that side. Okay, 1, 2, or 3. The back is the 3rd guy to the to the back on that side, right? As a strength call. So if somebody goes in motion, then your count changes. Okay, then you got to switch off. Sometimes we used to call it banjo, call it switch, or whatever you want to call it. But those guys will switch off. Now all of a sudden they pass it to the other guy, and so something I think might have that could have been the call. I'm not quite sure, but it looked like there might have been a hesitancy. But I could tell that the safety, was yelling at Bolton when it happened, when the guy came in motion. I could see that. So I'm just like, okay, did he mess up, or was he not fast enough on, the switch? Okay, the banjo call. So that's what it was.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's what we've been talking about going back to preseason, that the running backs out of the flat's been kind of killing us. So hopefully, I will say Moss and Chase Brown are both decent receiving backs. So this is going to be something to account for. And plus, when Burrow's not throwing 10 yards, above 10 yards, he's been going to the flat a lot. So maybe you'll see a lot more. They'll be testing us with the running backs for sure.
Yeah, definitely. So we'll and we look at the same way for us too, Marcus, right? We look for the matchup against linebackers. Yep. Pacheco got out there, almost caught that one on the side. Sanjay getting out there on the flat, on the what's the name, on the flare route. And so that's a good matchup. It's a good matchup. Running backs against linebackers, I'll take running backs all day. Okay? I will. Yeah. So
JD, you had 28-17. The total point over under for this game is 47.5. So you're slightly below the over under.
Below. Yeah. So okay.
All right. So we got some 2 questions here that we're gonna get to before we get out of here. So the questions are first question's from Kel. Question: do you think Mahomes plays under control and not try to force the ball downfield to his new shiny toys at wide receiver, or has he matured and has more restraint? Glad I found this chat. Glad you found it too, Kel.
Kel. Glad to see you, man. Glad to see you. You're gonna get some good things over here, man. So we talk about a little bit of everything. But going to answering your question, do I think Patrick plays under control? I do. I do believe for Patrick, what I'll see in the first game is him getting the ball out of his hand quick. Okay, making decisive decisions to guys he wants to throw the ball to, and he immediately recognizes it. And I love when he was sitting there talking to Chris Sims. I remember going back to that conversation. Is I've seen every defense they're going to possibly throw to me. He's seen everything from what they throw with Cincinnati. This is a great matchup for him. We know they've dropped 8 in coverage against him. And the thing is, drop 8, we'll hand it off to the back. Do that. Okay, we give it for Pacheco. We'll let the offensive line slash you to pieces, hit you dead in the mouth, and let them run for days. So Pat is not afraid of you dropping the 8 or you dropping the 7 into zone, trying to cover guys. He's going to exploit it. They're going to do a good job of exploiting it. We got guys out here right now that can get open, know how to find windows. We got Juju back, who does a great job. I didn't name Juju. Keep forgetting Juju's back on the squad, man. Good to see you, Juju. But he does a good job, man. He's going to exploit that. Travis Kelce. So they're going to find the windows. We got it. Like I said, we got one of the best backs, young backs coming up in the league in Pacheco. And so Sanjay P-Rod, we'll know what to do. Patrick will know what to do, but he'll be balanced the entire game. He'll be in balance the entire game. He'll show restraint, like you said, and he won't panic. He won't have to worry about it, man. He's going to lead those guys to victory, and he's going to make it look easy.
Yeah, hopefully none of those errant throws like he had in that Ravens game in the middle of the field.
That was,
it happens.
Yeah, it happens. But, that joke was in his face. I told you, man, DK or whatever, that strong joker was all in his face.
Mm-hmm. So we got last question from Julia Gulia. Bengals had trouble against the run. Big day for Pacheco and P. Ryan. I know you kind of mentioned both of them having a big day. How big of a role do you think P. Ryan's going to play this week because it is his old team? Do you think that they'll try to get him to rock more?
Yeah, he'll get some carries. He'll definitely get some carries. I think, when Pacheco gets going and Pacheco is slashing them, they'll bring P. Ryan in and let him get a little taste too. So I think they'll have a pretty good game. They're trying to stop the Chiefs from throwing the football. That's what they're going to try to do. And they know we have those guys up front. You get the ball to P. Ryan and Pacheco on 3rd and short, 2nd and 6, and all those things, we're going to eat. We're going to eat. So it's a chess match, man. It's got to be the balance, how you deal with guys, when you give the ball to them. But I do believe that they're going to get some good carries this game, and they should. That'll help us guys down the field. a lot. So I think it's going to be the great game plan. Yep.
And we got one more question. Sorry about that. Susie S., do you think Chanel will play as a spy again?
He wouldn't have had to spy Burrow. He don't have to do that because he's not a runner. So if anything, he'll probably look for guys coming over the middle, and you could just tattoo those guys running those little shallow crosses or maybe in the middle of the field. So he'll whether he'll be doing if you try to stack a guy, okay, and running some type of combination coverage, you can look to Joe Burrow throwing the football your way. What's the one wide receiver they got? Big tall kid, Isovesi or whatever his name is, you know.
Andre Eosavis or something like that. Yeah,
something like that. Yeah. So I don't think those guys are ready for what they're going to see with the Chiefs. That's the thing about it. So Joe Burrow may try to force throwing a ball to Jamar Chase, and so if you do that, you can bracket him all day. I would, especially if T. Higgs don't play. Bracket Chase, man. Run man backside against those other guys. Let him kill you. Stewart said, "Hey, Marcus, your hair looks good tonight." He likes it. Who likes it?
I appreciate that, man. I appreciate that. Yeah, so it's gonna be a good one. I think that we're fearing. I think we might see the end of this little window that Cincinnati had. I think I'm not saying our win's gonna shut it out or kind of close it for them, but I will say once they go 0-2, it's gonna be tough for them to kind of make up for, because I think the turmoil in the locker room is only going to grow, and kind of the bad stuff floating around is only going to grow when you keep losing.
Yeah, it's a long season. It's a long season. It's just second game of the season, man. You the thing is, you got to play the long game, and sometimes, it may take Jamar to have a good game because he understands that's going to get him paid, right? And so that's what he's looking for. He's looking to get the ball more. He was mad because he feel like the coaches didn't throw the ball to him. Which, man, he just got to practice.
Yeah.
He just got to practice. So you can be pissed off all you want to. So you turn your lip up all you like. But we'll see what you're going to do this week. I guarantee we're going to double.
Yep. Double. All right, guys. Well, so this does it for us for the night. So Friday night we'll be back on our betting show, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then Sunday post-game show that'll be on Bleacher Report. And shortly after on Bleacher Report, we'll have it posted on our YouTube channel. So Friday, Sunday, you got us. So 2 more times this week. So lots more good content coming your way, everybody.
That's right. Yeah, everybody Zulu said, give these guys a big thumbs up, man. I appreciate it. Give us a big thumbs up. We appreciate everything that you give us anyway. So y'all guys be good out there. Y'all take care. We will see you all on Friday. Come in and check us out. Go forever, KC, man. Good seeing you. Good talk. Good conversation. Hey, man, be on your stance, whatever you believe. Stay with it. John Clifford, appreciate you, my brother. Ghost Hunter 1974. Always, my man. Always. Don Peterson. Hey, man. Good seeing you, Don. Good seeing you. Newt Rockney, my man. All right? You take care over there. Rick Henderson. Hey, bro. Hey, good seeing you like always. Richie Hall, always a good time. Charles Driver, Jeremy Olsen, Melly Matrix, Stu, my brother. We'll see you later. Neff, love you. We'll talk to you. Eric Brown, I get to hear from you. 31-17, the Bengals have issues at the beginning of every season, and right now, Burrow's looking like Aaron Rodgers. We're better time in the game for the season. Yep, definitely. We look forward to that. Andre Chenault, love you. Love you. We appreciate you. Go Samoho Risen. Okay. He'll be fine. Yeah, he will. Okay. Susie S. We see Kathy Welch. I said Don already. We see who else we got on here. We had Amber Brown that was in there earlier. I think Wendy, Mike Brennan. Good seeing you. Who else? Man.
Oh, and I just see Nick B's comment there. I have Nick B's address, JD. He sent it to me, so I'll get that to you so we can get his Christian Okoye jersey down his way.
Yeah, okay. Nick B, man, it was the last day. I was pushing for you.
Yeah.
Give it away, man.
He sent the email, went to my spam folder, so I didn't see it. He sent it literally after Wednesday night last week. It went to my spam, so okay. I got his address.
All right, cool. Yeah, hit me out, DMs too if you need to. I go through and check them every once in a while. Tato Free, good seeing you, man. Let me see who else we got in here. Marcus, Katera Williams. Yeah, what's up, Katera? What's up? Tilly Train, some good people out here. Cindy Jennings, as always, appreciate you.
Ghost of Mojo Rising. That's a new one. It's a new name we haven't seen in here before.
All right. Let me see. Jamae. Oh, Katera. Oh, that's my girls. Yo, what's going on with y'all? I don't know if they're still on there or not, but good seeing them. Katera, she's a newlywed. So congratulations getting married. I went to the wedding this past weekend. But congratulations.
Congratulations. It's fantastic.
Yes. Haramba Biff, good seeing you. Zulu, like always. Everybody else, I didn't get to say hi to you and then bye. Listen, y'all take care. God bless you all. Appreciate a bit of it. Josh Rivers, appreciate you too on here. Y'all take care. Love you. Marcus, man, love you, man.
Love you, brother.
Hey, y'all. Hey, y'all got a little glimpse of welcome to the dungeon. Okay. Coming back next week, man. We're going to get on this board and start talking a little bit, start getting into some other things out here, man. So this is a quick little glimpse of it. But I'm back in the lab. This is where I need to be. It's where all the magic happens. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Not all of it. Not all of it.
Some of it.
Some.
Yeah. So. Magician doesn't reveal its tricks.
Never. That's it.
All right, guys. So we'll see you guys Friday at 7 p.m. for our betting show, and then Sunday for post-game action. So everybody enjoy the episode. We'll see you guys next time.
See you. Y'all take care.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out the best clips from Chief Concerns. And if you prefer to listen to the show, subscribe and follow us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and anywhere else you get your podcasts.